Thank you, sir.
Find me a floor where only champions walk. Find me a game where nobody has next. Find me a day that has no tomorrow. There, let me play. Let me play for that one final moment. And I will give you memories to last forever.
Back to Michael, circles, runs inside, reverses. Yes, sir! Collins on the floor. What a play by...
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another live episode of Real Fans, Real Talk. I'm Mark the Statman Skevich. Great to be back here on BronxNet Television for another live episode. A lot of sports topics to talk about, NFL action, NBA action. And before we get into everything, let me introduce my co-host, the one and only Trip Young. What's going on tonight, Trip?
Oh man, what's going on, Stat man? It's been a week in sports that definitely had some ups and some downs, but I managed to squeak by in fantasy football this past week, so I'm happy about that. Oh man, but it's just a whole lot of going on. We had a lot of big football games this past Sunday too, but we're gonna get into that in a minute, man.
Yeah, none bigger than, for me, Monday Night Football. Giants, Colts, obviously the biggest matchup of the weekend was Brady versus Manning. That's where all the hype was. But first, let's get into the hometown team, the New York Giants, who...
Why we gotta start with the Giants? Can't we just start with somebody else first?
It's like pulling a Band-Aid. Let's just get it over with. Pull the Band-Aid, get it off. No use, trying to drag it on.
At least Sean Fontaine's not here this week to get at us.
That is the good news, ladies and gentlemen. The Cowgirls fan on the panel is not here. It's just two Giants fans in mourning after last night's performance.
Yeah.
And you know what? For some reason, I even got a little spark of hope because Eli Manning brought it within 2 scores, but then they put the first-team defense out there again, and that ended that. Odell Beckham Jr. close to the first down in the fourth quarter. As a Giants fan, I never would give up on hope, and it was still possible, but, I mean...
I keep trying to tell you, Stat man, sometimes you just got to let it be, man. Sometimes you just got to let it be.
It was a long shot, and I didn't think it was going to happen. But then 2 touchdown scores, 14 points, taking a 30-point deficit down to 16.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns, 2 two-point conversions. Even without the onside kick, there would have been enough time to get the ball back. But unfortunately,
I feel your pain on that
that
one,
first-team defense, was too much for the New York Giants. And you had a Pittsburgh team that went in there and just wiped the floor with the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm figuring Eli Manning is going to get the job done. But he's got all these young receivers who we're seeing it as there's miscommunication, there's dropped passes. He obviously doesn't have Victor Cruz, who isn't exactly a veteran himself, but at least it's somebody that he had some sort of a chemistry with.
Yeah.
Odell Beckham Jr. is looking great. He has great speed.
This is also a new offense this season as well, because they did bring in a new offensive coordinator.
But the offense that was working a lot for Pittsburgh was the bunch formation, and the Giants tried it once and then ran the ball with it. That bunch formation kind of threw the Colts off because all the receivers are all lined up together in the formation and then just start scattering, a little harder to cover. They didn't really, they didn't use that in their offensive set, but there was just no answer for the Colts. And Andrew Luck, it's definitely not luck about him. He's definitely got some skills. The Giants kept blitzing him, even with a short period of time. All the knockdowns that he took last night, he was able to get the job done. And Gruden picks him as if he was starting a franchise, that would be the quarterback he said he would go with. I don't know what you think about that. I mean, you obviously have.
Are we talking about all the quarterbacks that are no? No, definitely. If we have like Peyton, Brady, and all these guys, no.
I guess also Luck is a lot younger, so if you were starting a franchise,
that you can't even say it like that. You'd have to say all of these guys are the same age coming into the league. Who you're gonna take, knowing their abilities and what they can do. I still would honestly. I still got to go with my man Tom Too Cool, and I don't. Luck wouldn't even be second or third or fourth even. I mean, I'd go Tom Brady. You know, I'd probably go Peyton right after that. Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, before Andrew Luck. So he's not up there right now.
And as it was mentioned on the broadcast, I mean, he obviously has a better receiving core than Eli Manning, even.
Yeah. Oh,
Reggie
he
Wayne,
came in
T.Y.
very
Hilton. Like,
fortunate. You know what I mean? Like if you look at, especially like let's take Tom Brady. You know, the three Super Bowls that he won. Do you think that Andrew Luck with regular receivers? He came in with Pro Bowl receivers already on deck. You know, he had a great offense surrounding him. You know,
well, I do want to let's not to take anything away from Andrew Luck, because I was on the feeling that he was going to be overhyped, and he is far exceeding my expectations.
oh, he's great.
He came from the worst team in the league to a playoff team. So him being there is
Well,
a huge
they were only the worst
factor.
team in the league though because Peyton got injured that year, so we can't just give them too much
Yeah,
now.
well, but at the same
They
time,
were-
if
they
Peyton Manning is
underachieved
there,
that
they're a
year.
playoff team. If Peyton Manning's not there, they're not a playoff team. But Andrew Luck is there, and they're a playoff team again. So he's
Yeah, but they had. I mean, who do you even remember the quarterback that was throwing that year for the Colts? Come on, man, we can't like give him too much credit now. And I'm not trying to take away anything from Andrew Luck because I think he's really good, but I'm not counting that they didn't go to the playoffs that year that Peyton got injured. I'm not giving them that because they had a horrible, horrible, horrible quarterback. You know, and they still had some really great offensive weapons. Listen, we got to be honest. Andrew Luck fell into luck when he landed with the Colts because they had a potent offense. So you put a good quarterback in a situation where you already have a great offensive line, Pro Bowl receivers in Reggie Wayne. You got T.Y. Hilton out there. So he comes into a situation where it's just a great situation. I'd like to see the reverse on that. You put Andrew Luck with the Redskins and put the RG3 with the Colts that year and see who would have done better. But obviously that's just the if situation. But you put him in situations where you don't have the fortune of having offensive weapons like that. We might see a different Andrew Luck because he still has weapons throughout his career. It's not ever been a time where he just has no one to throw to, and on top of that, they don't have a decent offensive line. He's always been fortunate in that regard.
Yeah, back to the game at hand last night, though. I mean, with the Giants, what do you think as far as I said as soon as Jennings got injured, it was going to be a factor. And now Andre Williams, he showed a little bit signs of life last night, but, it's with Jennings, if he comes back healthy, do you think that's going to jumpstart the Giants? Because they haven't been able to win without him, and I know
Yeah.
he's not exactly an Adrian Peterson or a franchise running back, but he was doing his
very
thing.
good, and he was doing very good for the Giants. And this, I said this a couple of weeks ago. I said I'm worried with him not being there because what they were missing last season was the running game, and we saw they actually were pretty good this year with that 1-2 punch of Rashad Jennings and Andre Williams, who I think is still doing pretty well, but they kind of missed that that punch of Rashad Jennings and what he brings to the table. So hopefully he'll be back and it can kind of turn things around because they're in a position right now where the Eagles just lost Nick Foles, pretty much you might as well say for the year, and they're depending on your boy Jody Sanchez,
Dirty Sanchez
right
in the
now,
building.
which means that
he seemed to
the
have
Giants
done
could step
pretty
it up.
well.
Yeah, he
and
did
he's
pretty well.
actually,
And that's the thing.
Unlike the Jets, they actually gave him the heads up to throw the long ball, and he connects with Macklin.
He also had offensive weapons out there.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah,
going back
he
to the
has
whole thing
Macklin,
with
yeah.
Andrew Luck. You have Jeremy Macklin out there. You have LaShawn McCoy, who's one of the best running backs in the league and who can also catch out the backfield as well. And they have a pretty good offensive line, that's getting better as they get healthier. So he's in a position where a good quarterback can do well. You know what I mean? Like even like what we saw with Alex Smith the year, he pretty much led the 49ers on that playoff run that year before, getting hurt or whatever. But a situation where a decent quarterback can do well when you have offensive weapons in front of you and a good offensive line. So it's Sanchez fell into that situation, which I'm hoping doesn't hurt too much because do have Jeremy Macklin on my fantasy team, and he has been beasting 150 plus yards back to back weeks. So I'm hoping that doesn't go down now that Sanchez is starting, because and I don't even want to say the excuse of you don't have time to game plan for Sanchez, because you know what you're getting with Sanchez anyway.
I mean, he connected with
Yeah,
Macklin.
but maybe
for
not
a
now,
few
because now he has receivers. So maybe now you really do have to game plan, because he's in a situation where, one, he's going to be able to throw the ball, and two, he actually has guys that he can throw the ball to and that can catch the ball.
The-
So you might have to start game planning for Sanchez. But the Giants are in a position now where if they can actually win, they could be in a position to kind of sneak in and steal a division. Because I'm not 100% with Romo and his back situation. I know they say that he's supposed to be going out to London to play this weekend, but I mean, one hit the wrong way, he could be back sidelined again. So you got to be able to capitalize on injuries. I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is. Injuries is part of the game, and you have to be able
That's
to
why
capitalize.
I'm glad we got Eli Manning for the New York Giants, who has the longest active consecutive starting streak
Yeah.
amongst quarterbacks. And the rest of the NFC East, they will have their share of injury troubles.
Yeah.
Tony Romo with the back, he's set to return now.
Yeah.
Nick Foles obviously out for the season. RG3, we don't know what we're going to get with him.
Yeah.
So
If he can even stay healthy, but I
one
doubt
of the
the
problems
Redskins
with
make a
Eli
run.
Manning before we move along from the Giants, though, it seems like I give him credit for this, because when one of his receivers isn't doing well, he'll still continuously go to that direction. But I definitely wasn't liking it last night. It's like, stop throwing that way. Like, you try to utilize Odell Beckham more, because that's not working. And but I
What are you
mean,
gonna do, man?
his receiver will make a drop, and he wants to go back to him. He doesn't, try to get him back into the groove, almost like in basketball where you miss
Yeah.
a shot, you're gonna let that player take another shot. But at the same time, it just wasn't working, and
You gotta
he
keep
just
pushing.
definitely does not have the weapons. But
Listen, Victor Cruz was a huge loss. Rashad Jennings is a huge loss. We're talking about key offensive players for the Giants. They're gonna get Jennings back. We're not gonna get Cruz back this season, but
I'm glad we have
yeah,
Beckham at least.
exactly.
It's like Cruz went down the same game
that he came back.
Beckham, exactly. So
Only if
but-
we could have both at the same time, we might be
Yeah,
doing
well,
something.
we're just, the way things have been going the past few years with the Giants, it's we don't exactly have that luck, and we don't have the luck with the league office with the scheduling, with us playing, the Colts and then the Seahawks and then the 49ers. It's like,
Yeah.
we were in a playoff team last year. How come we're playing against all these Titans this season? Can you give us a little bit of a break on the schedule? It's bad enough we're on the NFC East, but you mentioned RG3. We mentioned the NFC East. We're going to take one of the fan mail questions. Kurt from Virginia writes in, do you guys think RG3 will make it the rest of the season as the Redskins starting quarterback?
Honestly, I can't say, because I'm just not, sure when it comes to RG3's health. I don't think he will be benched, because he came back and I thought he played a decent game. It wasn't like he came back and
It
played
wasn't
bad.
great, but it wasn't
Yeah,
bad
it wasn't
either.
bad. It's definitely, I would still go with him over McCoy and over Cousins.
Well, some people were saying McCoy should have probably played this last game, because then they might have won. But
I mean, I
the
guess
same-
maybe, but I still honestly, I still think that RG3 gives the Redskins their best chance of winning. It's one, because Alfred Morris plays a lot better when RG3 is in the game, and I've noticed that from RG3's rookie season, Alfred Morris had a crazy season as well. Last year, his production kind of went down. This year has been a little in between, but I mean, the games that RG3's played, Alfred Morris has had bigger games. So from that standpoint alone, I think it is good. Not and I thought Colt McCoy played great. They got a huge win, but I still think that RG3 gives them the best chance of winning if he can actually stay healthy.
yeah. And the thing is also RG3, the contract year, so they're going to want to see what they could get out of him. They're going to want to see if he's going to stay healthy for the rest of the year, because if he can manage to actually play the rest of the season without getting injured, they might actually consider giving him a contract, because if he gets injured again, I don't see the
Yeah,
Redskins
that's a
even
wrap.
dealing with him at that point, or
Yeah.
he's definitely not going to be worth starting quarterback money. I mean, maybe someone else in the league might pick him up and
for
take a
cheap.
risk as a
He's not
as a
gonna
backup.
get that money. If he stays healthy, the Redskins will give him a nice contract, but he has to stay healthy. And even still, he's still not gonna get that great money. He's gonna get good money if he can stay healthy, but he's not gonna get great money. But I mean, it's RG3. Like I said, I'm not convinced that he can stay healthy because I haven't seen it for long enough yet. And I really do. I really want him to stay healthy because I like RG3. I think he has the potential to be a really good quarterback in this league. I mean, look what he did his rookie season. He turned the Redskins franchise around, got them in the NFC East and into the playoffs. You know what I mean? But he has to stay healthy in order to continue to build from
And
that.
not just healthy, he's hasn't been the same even when he was
Yeah,
healthy.
exactly.
When he does play, he lost a step or two. He's
Yep.
not nowhere near as as elusive and as fast as he was his
Yeah.
rookie season.
So can you even get that back? And
Yeah.
that's the thing. And you have to stay healthy long enough in order to get that back. That's the
But-
thing. So
so-
what are you gonna do?
But it's possible that he's their franchise guy. If I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs regardless because of how tough the division is, and they're going to try to ride him out for the rest of the season to see what he could do, even if he's playing bad. Kind of like what they did with Dirty Sanchez in New York. That
Yeah.
was their franchise guy. They were paying
And
him.
then well, I think he's
And
a
even
lot
Geno
better than
Smith, the same thing. Like you try to ride him out as long as possible. I know it's
Yeah.
RG3's playing better than they
Yeah.
were, but at the same time,
I mean, hey,
they're gonna
Sanchez
wanna
did lead
see.
the Jets to 2 AFC Championships games. So from that standpoint,
true.
got to give him a little bit of props.
Yeah,
Not
but
that
I'm
much
not
though. He's
actually-
still that's the butt
You
fumble.
know, with him actually having some other weapons, like you mentioned, and with him actually getting the go ahead, like
Yeah.
he had that long touchdown pass to Macklin, I think 65 yards, and he aired it out. It wasn't like a 5-yard pass, and so. I think with him actually with the Jets they didn't have faith in Sanchez. They didn't let him throw for a 40-yard pass. Because they figured it's going
Now
to
it's
get
a situation
intercepted.
where they ain't got no choice. But I mean, listen, with the Jets, they still don't have an offensive line protecting anybody.
And
And then on top of that, they didn't have receivers because Santonio Holmes kept getting hurt. So they just didn't have anybody to throw to. They didn't really have a running game because these guys were just horrible. So now it's a situation where I think we may actually see a different Sanchez, this second time around because he has
I
the
would like to
receivers.
say I wish him well, but he's going to be playing for the Eagles, so
And that's the thing,
I'm
yeah.
hoping that you fail, Sanchez. I'm
Well,
sorry.
no, let me just listen. Let's just get Macklin. If you can get Macklin to 150 yards again, the remainder of the
but
season,
still lose.
but still lose, I'll be okay with that. Okay, I'm fine with that. So that's all I'm saying.
All right, understandable. All right, now the big matchup. I know you wanted to talk about this one: Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. I called a little bit of an audible on the Real Fans Real Talk page because on Thursday we go live in Brooklyn on Brooklyn Public Network, which is also broadcasted in all 5 boroughs, including the Bronx, on Verizon Channel 44 every Thursday at 8. For other listings, visit realfansrealtalk.com. Myself and Face Facts both picked the Broncos to win. Then I saw the winds were going to be 30 miles per hour. It was snowing during the course of the day. The snow let up by the time game time happened. And I just said, no, with the wind factor and the fact that it's Gillette Stadium, I think Tom Brady's going to pull it out. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. So, Trip Young, you were right on the if it was calm weather, though, I think I would have stuck with my pick, and I think Peyton Manning would have pulled it off. But it's not just the Broncos' defense that improved, but the Patriots' defense improved dramatically with Revis Island. No question about that. So
And Brandon Browno came over from the Seahawks, one
Yeah.
of their cornerbacks. But to be honest with you, I think the biggest difference is Rob Gronkowski.
oh yeah,
Because I mean, we're talking about last season. I mean, and the Patriots did well last season without anybody, without any receivers. They still made it to where they made it in the playoffs. And the effect that Rob Gronkowski has on the game, that's a true definition of game changer. You look at him. Jimmy Graham has that ability. Calvin Johnson if he can actually stay on the field because he's been getting hit with those injuries. Guys like that are game changers. Rob Gronkowski, he changes everything for the New England Patriots. That's a complete different dimension because I don't know if he's guardable. I don't know if you can really stop Rob Gronkowski. I haven't seen him being stopped. I haven't
Tight
seen
coverage, he'll
Yeah.
catch it over you and then truck you over.
and then
like,
and then knock you out, and then he'll run it for a touchdown. So I don't know if he can be stopped. So when he's healthy, there's nothing like it. It's not even like like I've seen Jimmy Graham get shut down by the Seahawks. I have not seen this man Gronkowski get shut down. So having him back is a huge plus for Tom Brady and then on top of that, you have Julian Edelman who has been stepping up as of late. And he gives me that Wes Welker feel, but he's a lot faster than Wes Welker, and he's killing on special teams as well. So I just think like right now, and I said on the show on Thursday, I said if they were playing in Denver, I'd go with Denver, but the fact that they were at home in Foxborough, Tom Brady wasn't losing that game.
Yeah, it's definitely always exciting to see Brady versus Manning. Brady has the best of the series, and maybe we'll be seeing them again come playoff time. It's very likely the scenario. It's probably, we just saw a preview of the AFC Championship, so it's going to be exciting to see that going forward.
Because you better get that home field. Whichever one, because I think honestly, whichever one of those teams has home field come playoff time is going to be the team we see in the Super Bowl.
And you said Gronkowski. I mean, that's a huge factor as far as the games that they lost. He was injured.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now that if he stays healthy, who's to say if they're going to lose another one? If they could beat Denver, then I mean they could pretty much hang
Exactly.
with anybody,
That's the team because I don't think there's anybody left that they play that's close to Denver, and I mean they completely destroyed Denver. So if they can do that to the Broncos, I mean Peyton threw for over 400 yards, but he wasn't the same, and that was the other thing I mentioned on Thursday was that because we had one of the shot for shot questions was who would throw for more yards, and I said that Peyton would throw for more yards than Tom Brady, but if you look at the touchdown ratio, if you look at the last couple of weeks, Tom Brady's touchdown numbers have been higher, but he hasn't been throwing for that many yards. So they're getting in the end zone, but he's not throwing for 500-yard games, or anything like that. Whereas Peyton is throwing for a lot of yards, but his touchdown ratio is a little bit lower. He only had 2 touchdowns this past game. Brady had 4, with less yardage. But that was the other thing too.
Field position is another factor in the running game. A lot of
exactly.
There's a lot of short passes to the running backs in Denver too. So
yep.
Which count as passing yards as opposed to rushing yards. So
and another 400+ yard game for Peyton too. We spoke about that a couple of weeks ago on that over under. So we can add one more to the list right there. He's definitely gonna throw. Like he did. I think he's gonna still. It's a quarterback friendly league, so you gotta
he's gonna break his own records again.
He just might, And I'm looking at
very possible.
The Patriots schedule. They go on the road to face Indianapolis this week. And I think that might be out of the games that they have left. That might be the toughest one. I mean, Green Bay has been shaky this year. They're on the road against Green Bay, but other than that, I mean, Detroit, San Diego, they're falling apart. Then they got Miami again at home. They got the Jets on the road, no problem, and they finished the season at home to Buffalo. So honestly, I mean, the Patriots could win out the rest of this with the rest of that schedule. If they can get past the Colts, because I mean they are hot right now. We could see them winning out, and if that's the case, if they win out and they take home field, I don't see why the Patriots won't go to the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, it's definitely a good possibility. Whoever has home field is going to take that one. Definitely agree with you on that one. Big Ben, what's going on? It was shocking when it happened the first time against the Colts. Then you figure they play their division rival Baltimore, with a better, arguably better defense.
Yeah.
It was probably a coin toss between those two, but I just couldn't believe it.
I don't know where
6 touchdowns 2 weeks in a row.
I don't know
Big
where
Ben.
this Roethlisberger has been. I don't know where he came from. I don't
He
know
just
where he's
jumped
been.
up and tied Tom Brady with 22 touchdowns for
Yeah.
the season. Two
I'm like,
weeks, it's like he's
okay.
tied for third place. and touchdowns on the season. I mean, this
I
is
don't understand what's going on with Roethlisberger. I mean, he's playing exceptionally right now. That whole offense. I mean, they haven't been running the ball, but they have no need to run the ball the past couple of weeks. Antonio Brown. I mean, the rest of every receiver. Like it's like he has four receivers that have 100 yards a game, which is crazy. I mean, the touchdowns. Everybody is getting involved in the offense. I mean, you got to respect it, man. Now, how long it's gonna last, I can't say because, again, I'm not sure because they haven't played at this level for a while. You know what I mean? So I don't
well,
know.
now they're going to be playing the Jets, so it'll probably be
Well,
easier for
yeah,
him to
he
do
might
that.
he might have 10 touchdowns next week. So I don't know. But shout out to Roethlisberger. I mean, he's playing some great football right now. The Steelers as a whole, they did Palomalu did go down. So as far as the severity and how long of how much game time he's going to be missing, that may play a role on what happens because they already had a lot of injuries, which is why James Harrison actually came out of retirement because of all of the injuries on the defensive side of the football. But I mean, if the offense is playing like that, and, especially against the Jets, I don't even think they'll need Palomalo versus the Jets.
I could take his place.
Exactly, I'm saying. So
against
then,
the Jets.
and it wouldn't even matter. So it is what it is. But as far as when we're talking about injuries, that we mentioned Nick Foles. He had the collarbone injury. He's not going to need surgery, but he is going to be out for the remainder of the season. So if the Eagles make the playoffs, he may be able to come back. But again, that all lies on the heels of Dirty Sanchez and his ability to get the football down the field. Can Jeremy Maclin and LaShawn McCoy carry the load? I don't know. But like I said,
Let's hope not as Giants
yeah,
fans.
as long as he
but-
gets his 150 a game for my fantasy purposes, I'm okay with them losing. But outside of that, I don't know. I can't call it. I got to see a game first before I say that they can actually still compete at the level that they were competing at without Nick Foles, who is actually having a great season. But who knows with those guys?
And speaking of coming back, not an injury, but Adrian Peterson was in court today at 2:30 earlier today, and he was pleading guilty to a lesser charge. It's really in the hands of Roger Goodell whether or not he's going to allow him to play. He wasn't technically suspended, so he got paid about $5 million for the last 8 games. So it might be a situation where he says, 6-game suspension, time served, but you're going to get fined for whatever amount it is. I'm not sure how they're going to, the NFL, they just kind of make stuff up as they go along, just make up numbers, and, that's pretty much how it goes down. So Adrian Peterson could be back for the Vikings, even though their running back just scored 3 touchdowns in the last
Well, I'm
game.
sure if Adrian Peterson comes back, somebody's getting
Yeah.
bumped out of the way. I don't care how many touchdowns.
Congratulations, that's a
Yeah.
highlight of your
Exactly
of
your career. Because
but-
if Adrian Peterson comes back, you can believe that that's going to be a wrap.
But I have Asiata on my fantasy team, so
Yeah.
the 3
Well,
touchdowns
you
helped.
might want to send him to the bench because I don't think that's going down
And
if Peterson does
I
come
believe
back.
they have a bye week again as well, so they'll have some
Yeah.
some time to figure things out. Whether
What
Adrian
exactly is
Peterson
going to happen with that?
Exactly. So, with that being said, I just want to remind you guys we are live here on BronxNet Television. We are live every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also archived on YouTube and the live stream on our website, realfansrealtalk.com. We also air live every Thursday now in Brooklyn on Brooklyn Public Network, which is also aired in all 5 boroughs if you are a Verizon customer on Channel 44 every Thursday at 8 p.m. Make sure you check this out, and you can check out the live stream from anywhere in the world. For more information, just go to realfansrealtalk.com. I want to thank our fans for writing in. The email address is fanmail@realfansrealtalk.com. Our Facebook page, facebook.com/realfansrealtalk. Click that like button, get some occasional funny memes, some blogs, a lot of other information out there on our Facebook page, reminders of when we go on the air. So make sure you click that like button. Twitter @realfantalk, and all our social media could be found right on our website, realfansrealtalk.com. There's also a Facebook group page where we go back and forth on the daily sports topics. Just request to become a member. Search Real Fans Real Talk on Facebook, and you could become a member right on there and send us your fan mail questions, topics, discussions, debate back and forth with us, etc. Taking another fan mail question, Jerry from Providence, Rhode Island writes in, will B-Hop win decisively, or will this be a close fight against Kovalov?
Um, I gotta go with my man B Hop. I'm sorry, man. I can't. I think he's gonna clearly beat him. It's not gonna be no debating. I think every judge is gonna give him the fight. I just B Hop is just it's just something about him, man.
He makes Father Father Time his son.
Yeah, exactly. And I know, I do want to talk about this because, there was a little controversy the past couple of days with B-Hop. He was asked why what he's doing in the sport of boxing isn't getting more coverage by the media, as far as the
On the
rate that
national
he's
level.
winning and the age that he's doing it at and the dominance that he's winning with. And he said the reason for that is because he's black. He said that if he had a different last name, if his name was Stein or Stern or Marciano or anything else, he would be getting more media coverage. But since he's black, he's not. But I'm gonna say what I feel. But what do you think, Statman, in regards to his comments?
I mean, I disagree with that. There's no boxer in the sport that gets more coverage than Floyd Mayweather. That's just because of how he sells himself and he becomes, a controversial figure. Bernard Hopkins is just, he goes out there, he does his job, and he does his job well, and he does it at an older age. George Foreman was getting huge exposure when he came back in his 40s and took the heavyweight title. But, unfortunately, for whatever reason it is, Bernard Hopkins, he's not, a household name. He's not, he's not flashy, I guess, enough for the spotlight. I'm not sure what it is, but it's definitely not because he's black, because, I just gave you an example of the age with George Foreman, and, the most popular boxer in the world is Floyd Mayweather, and that's just because he's flashy, arrogant, and his persona, you root for him to lose, and people know who he is, so.
Here's the thing. I can't. You know what? I'm not. I'm not sure either way. I can't even. I'm not gonna say what he's saying is wrong. I'm not gonna say what he's saying is right because I can't speak for the rest of the media. I can only speak for us. I mean, we cover him when he fights. You know what I mean? But as far as we're not doing an everyday piece on Bernard Hopkins. But obviously for us it has
Yeah, every
nothing
time
to
he
do with
fights,
his race.
we're always mentioning
Yeah.
how phenomenal it is that he's winning at such an old age, and
Yeah.
so
So
even just
I'm
now
not.
making the reference.
I'm
like,
not sure. As far as what the rest of the media is doing, it's possible. You know what I mean? That that could be part of the reason, but I don't know. You know what I mean? I can't speak for everybody else. I know we try to speak about him when he like you said when he's fighting. We're always talking about Bernard Hopkins and how great he's doing right now and his age. And in fact, we we make our little jokes about it all the time, but we speak about it every time he's fighting. I don't know how often we're supposed to speak about Bernard Hopkins, and I do think is great. You know what I mean? What he's doing at his age, and he dominated his last couple of fights. There's no debate, no anything. Like he clearly wins, and he looks very good. He's not winded at the end of these fights, so I think it's an amazing feat what he's accomplishing. You know, but I don't know how much more coverage
Did
it
you want a
should get.
documentary?
Yeah,
about
that's
it?
what I'm saying. Like,
does
well,
he
what
want?
else should we
He
do?
won. Like,
Yeah.
we know we're watching.
And
like,
it could be, the whole thing, like you said, like where you have, somebody like Mayweather, and obviously he's not old, as old as Hopkins on what he's doing, but he has that personality. Yeah,
stacks of money
exactly.
and stuff. And
You don't have that kind of personality. Maybe that could be part of
George
it too.
Foreman was selling his
As
grills.
grills at that time, yeah. So maybe if you had, you had a grill or something like that, you get a little bit more media coverage. But it is what it is, man. I don't know. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna keep covering them the same way we cover them, which is when he's actually relevant when he's doing something. I mean, that's just what it is in sports when you're relevant.
Not everybody's great on interviews and stuff too. So I've been out. Is he going out there trying to put himself out there? Maybe
That's what I'm saying. I don't see him in the social media.
Like,
maybe he should be.
He's older. He's not. There's no Twitter following.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
maybe
is
there is. I don't know.
But this is the era of social media. So
and controversy. Go and throw a pitch at a baseball game and miss completely, like 50 Cent did or something.
Yeah, and then they'll talk. But you have to actually put yourself out there too. It's not all about people following you, because if you're not exciting and you're not doing anything at the time, they're only going to talk about you when you're in the ring. But outside of that, you know what I mean?
Pacquiao
like this
had
is
his tax issues, like that comes in that.
So then then
like,
you'll be talking. They'll be talking about you. But other than that, you have to actually put yourself out there too. It's all about, when you're talking about your brand and building your brand, it's a lot of self promotion. Like I don't see you on Vine and on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter. I don't hear about Bernard Hopkins on any of the social media sites that we have. You know what I mean? Like I see, I pulled up B-Hop's Twitter right now. He has 118,000 followers. I mean, this is somebody who is 55, 6, and 1 right now, and doing what he's doing. So, I can't call it with B-Hop. So maybe he needs to do a little bit more of that self promotion and make sure he's out there.
We just gave him a good 5 to 10 minutes. So B-Hop, you were just on Real Fans Real Talk for a hot minute there. So I don't want to hear no more complaining.
Exactly.
On your end.
And we had him on the show longer than I watched First Take this morning. We had him a lot longer than they had. Talked about
true. That is true.
So you better recognize.
We do love you, B-Hop. We definitely do.
Exactly.
We appreciate what you're doing, especially Old Man Statman and all that. But it's about that time for Shot, ladies and gentlemen. The way Shot for Shot works, we ask a series of 5 questions, 2 contestants, 1 judge. We're going to have the voice in the sky judging, and whoever the judge agrees with gets the point. If both contestants agree, no point is awarded.
Could you do me a favor? You're gonna have to do this for the second half of the show. I'll let you slide. There's something right behind you. I see you tried to hide it behind you so that the people at home wouldn't notice. Could you put that? You're gonna have to wear that for the rest of the show now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you need to pick that shirt up, and you're gonna have to wear that for the rest of the show now. I think it's only right.
I'll wear it for
lost Shot for Shot last week.
We say team apparel of a team that you hate, not a player that you hate.
But you're a player hater. You have your player hating degree. All right. So you're gonna have to wear that for the rest of the show today to make up for your previous losses. But we got you know what, we doing something, Real Fans Real Talk, we trendsetters, so we doing something a little different. So I got one of my close friends, Mr. Alan Carlton here. Yes, if you don't know Alan Carlton, you probably do know him around these parts because he works on about
he's got the referee as a cape,
100 shows. Television shows. He's always behind the scenes, but he definitely, he works hard around here. So we're going to have him come in and judge shot for shot for us this week so that we don't have to go to the voice in the sky. So
if you lose, Carlton, you have to wear team apparel of a team that you hate, as you see with me with this disgusting LeBron James
First of all,
shirt.
it looks nice on you.
Everything looks nice on me, but thank you.
I'm just saying, it's a good shirt, all right? And it's a LeBron thing. You wouldn't understand.
No, I don't understand. I definitely don't. That I agree with you.
It's all
good, right, getting started with the first question, please, Alan, if you would do us the honors.
Okay, folks. So first question, shot for shot. After 9 weeks into the season, which is the best team in the NFL?
I am going to still go with the Denver Broncos. I think the only reason why they lost to the Patriots was because of the win factor and the fact that they were in Gillette Stadium. If one or both of those factors weren't in effect, if it was at Gillette Stadium and the weather wasn't as bad as it was, I think we would have seen a different game with the Broncos coming out on top. They're just way more dominant than any other team in the league right now. And you can't win all the games. We're not looking at an undefeated season for them, obviously. But I do think that they are the powerhouse in the NFL, and I got to go with them as the best team.
Man, I'm so tired of these weather excuses. You play in Denver, Colorado, one of the coldest places in the United States. So I don't want to hear anything about this.
That's a whole different.
This cold. That's one. How you going to be the best team and you got destroyed by the New England Patriots this past week? They put up 43 points on you, held you to 21 points, and they're not the only one of the elite teams. The Seahawks also beat them down at the beginning of the season as well. but I'm going with the New England Patriots. They are hot right now. Tom Tuchel is destroying everything that comes in front of them. All right. You gotta go with the Patriots. Look at my man Rob Gronkowski is back now. We just spoke about him and what he's doing in that Patriots offensive game, the defense, Darrelle Revis. He's back on Revis Island right now. And I mean, again, they just came off of completely dominating the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, all right. And the Seahawks beat the Broncos early this season. Look at them; they're not doing anything impressive. They're taking
But the Patriots
losses
are doing
afterwards.
stuff that's impressive, though.
Well,
and
I
they
mean,
just
any
beat
given
up on
Sunday
them.
you could beat anybody. Just because they beat the Broncos doesn't automatically put them as the best team in the league. They got the win.
Well,
and,
why would it not put the Why would it put the Broncos there? Just because
Seattle
they're
beat
covered
them
off,
too,
They're
so
covered
why
off a
is
loss.
Seattle
but we're
better than
talking about after 9 weeks, and if you after 9 weeks, the Patriots are on top and coming off of completely dominating the team that you just said was the best team in the league.
And I'm still
So I
sticking
guess unless if you mean then the Patriots must be in a league of their own if they just completely dominated the team that you feel like is the best team. But Mr.
They got Tampa Bay gets victories too. I mean, you could
so
you,
but
you
Tampa
could
Bay
you
hasn't-
could have
hasn't
you could
beaten-
have a fluke.
Tampa
every
Bay
now
hasn't
and
beaten
then.
either team, and you can't compare Tampa Bay to either one of these two teams. That's completely different because they're a bottom of the barrel team. The Patriots are nowhere near a bottom of the barrel team.
My point being that anybody could get a win on any given week. That doesn't make them the best team, but.
Well, they've been winning consistently throughout. It's not like they just got one win over the.
All right,
Broncos.
enough of this, Alan. You're the judge for the
Yeah,
evening.
guys, and this is tight, man. This is real. It's as tight as the two teams are because really they're neck and neck right now, I feel, at this stage of the season. But I'd have to give the slight edge to New England since they did beat Denver.
Mollywopped them is what you would say.
Really close, though, with the talent on both teams, and they're both hot now. So I'm curious to see how the season goes, but I have to give the slight edge right now to New England, and that pains me to say that. Not a
Well,
New
I
England fan.
appreciate that.
All right,
What we got
question number
next?
2.
Okay, number 2 is over under 20% chance the Lakers trade Kobe Bryant to the Knicks. Oh, man.
Now this is funny because about a year ago, Statman said that not only would Phil Jackson be on the Knicks, that Kobe Bryant would too. So the fact that we actually discussing this is just
Crazy.
funny in
It's
itself.
crazy right now.
Yeah, but I gotta say under I cannot unless Kobe personally requested a trade to the Knicks. I can't see it happen, and he just said recently he's not thinking about any kind of trades or anything like that. And I can't see the Lakers trading Kobe Bryant either. I mean, he is the Lakers. There's no Lakers without Kobe. Like, okay, you might want to rebuild or whatever, but you're not trading Kobe. He is the Lakers right now.
Michael Jordan was the Bulls back then, and he didn't finish his career.
Well, he
as
didn't.
a
He
Chicago
didn't get
Bull.
traded. He retired.
No,
He
I
came
know.
back.
I'm gonna go with the under 2. I'm not even gonna try to justify that. It's not. I mean, there's still a possibility of it happening, but at the same time, what are the Knicks gonna really give up? They're heavy in the shooting guard position as it is. Are they gonna trade Shump and JR or Shump and Tim Hardaway? Would the Lakers even consider that? Like, how much more would they want for Kobe Bryant?
You have to realize that contract
And-
too. That's $55 million. You got to add
Yeah.
up to them contracts. So you couldn't.
You got
even
you
trade-
got it. Well, you could throw Stoudemire and
Yeah.
Shumpert or something
Stoudemire,
that would cover as far as cap room. And I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure how how that would really work. I understand that Phil Jackson is here, Fisher is here, so maybe it will seem a little bit more attractive. But yeah, I think he wants to retire a Laker, unlike we've seen a lot of great players in history not finish their career with the same team. You look at, Michael Jordan was an example. Karl Malone and Scottie Pippen floated all around the place. So I'm going to think that he wants to stay and be remembered as a Laker and only a Laker, which is rare nowadays. So I'm going to have to go with the under.
So
So what would happen with Melo, man? Is Melo supposed to stick around when Kobe comes
Well, no,
here?
Melo ain't going
Is
nowhere.
he giving up
He's-
some shots?
Well, somebody's going to give us some shots. I know neither one of them want to, but somebody would have to in that situation. That's the one thing that I feel like would never have worked if Kobe went to if Melo had went to the Lakers in this offseason, because we two guys that love to shoot the ball and want the ball in their hands. So I just didn't think that would ever work.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to happen anyway. So I don't think
could be a problem.
we'll worry about that.
So let's go to the third one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Will the Eagles 6-2 make the playoffs despite missing Nick Foles? I mean, Sanchez is coming in, right?
Dirty Sanchez, as you like to call
Dirty
him.
Sanchez in the building. The Giants bias is going to have to try to say no to that one. I don't really think it's really that much Nick Foles. It's just more so the Cowboys and the Giants. And I mean, I'm saying the Giants in the bias sense, but at the same time, I think when Jennings comes back, we're going to probably finish somewhere along the lines of not. We do have to play each team again. The Cowgirls will be home this time. We should have Jennings back. DRC was kind of only played I think 15 snaps in that Cowgirls game. So I don't really think it's more so the injury. I just think that how tough the NFC East is and how tough the wild card is going to be after that. So I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, I got to agree because, I mean, if Tony Romo was going to be out for a significant amount of time, I might give them a chance, but since he should be coming back, and even if he doesn't come back this Sunday, which most likely he will, he'll definitely be back the following week, which means that, they'll be full and back to, as far as on the offensive end. But I just think that Nick Foles is a huge loss for the Eagles, and he was playing some really great football for them. And then again, like you said, you got a couple of division games that are coming up. The Giants will be getting a couple of key offensive players back. So I don't have that confidence in Mark Sanchez that he can lead the Eagles. I said earlier, I hope that Jeremy Maclin still gets his 150 for fantasy football purposes, but I don't have confidence in Sanchez like that.
They managed to get the victory with him, regardless. But yeah, I'm hoping he fails as well, just because he plays for the Eagles. That's it. So, all right. So we're in agreement again.
I think so. We're all in agreement on that. Will the Cubs make the playoffs at any point during the Joe Madden tenure?
Well, first of all, he just signed a 5-year deal with the Cubs. But I just think there's no. I can't say that they will, man. It's the Cubs. I don't see any life coming anytime soon. I don't think it has anything to do with the manager. It's just that team. And then a lot of times when a team is that bad, then it gets to the point where, guys just don't want to go there on top of everything else, so it makes it even harder. And I think that Joe Madden is a great manager, but I don't think that, their problem hasn't been with the manager. It's with the team and the players on the team. They're just not good, and I don't see them getting better anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, way under 500 at the bottom of the National League Central Division. I think the National League is pretty set with its contenders for the next 5 years. I mean, they got a lot of young talent on a lot of these teams, and I just, barring the Cubs making some historic moves or something, I just don't see it happening. So within 5 years, I don't think so. I mean, with the lineup they have now, who knows, 3 years from now, they could, make some blockbuster trades in the meantime, or pick up a young talent that changes some things. But still, I think it's going to be too tough within the next 5 years.
Okay, so a great manager and good PR is not going to make a championship team.
Not at all.
We got a good manager,
you
good
need
PR,
some kind of
and
talent.
good players in the New York Yankees, and we didn't even make the playoffs.
Exactly.
There's only a few teams that get to make it, and I don't see them being as one of the contenders going forward.
Even though it's 5 years, we're talking about.
I mean, they only finished higher than two teams in the entire National League, Colorado and Arizona. So they're really at the bottom of the barrel there. So it's going to take a hell of an overhaul to a lot more than just your manager.
All right, so let's move back to football. Over, under, 30% chance the 4-4 49ers make the playoffs.
Yeah, this is. I mean, that's exactly one of the teams I was thinking about when we talked about the Philadelphia Eagles, because after the division is set with either the Cowgirls or the Giants, there's also the other factor that you have the Seahawks, the 49ers and the Cardinals are most likely taking that division, barring some type of collapse. So those are two teams that could end up in wild card contention. But then you also have the Packers and Lions, who one of the teams is going to win the division, the other team is going to make the wild card, which makes it pretty low for the 49ers. And it's just weird to try to think that the 49ers won't make the playoffs. I think they might turn it around the rest of the season. Maybe they'll win. Maybe they'll win 6 or 5 out of the remaining 8 games. I'm probably putting them at 9-7, and I don't think 9-7 will really cut it for this year's wild card. So I'm gonna have to say under.
Yeah, I gotta agree because one right now, it's too many teams ahead of them. If they were at least in second place in their division right now, I could go with the over. But the fact that they're third in that division, and Arizona is playing lights out football right now, I don't see them falling back. They're still behind the Packers right now, who aren't even in the playoff race. So I can't give it to them. I think they lost. There were 2 games that they should have won that they didn't win. I know one of them
And they're
was,
going to lose to the Giants because the Giants have to win.
one of them was last week and it was a controversial call where Kaepernick. It looked like he got into the end zone, but they went the other way with that call, which cost them the game this past Sunday. But at the end of the day, they didn't win it, and they should have. And I think that all of the injuries and the suspensions, finally caught up to them, and I don't think they're gonna make it this year.
All right, well, we only disagreed on one, and you got the point for that one. That shirt is gone, by the way. A shot for shot is over. And unfortunately, I might have to wear it again next week. But
I mean, it's cool. Listen, sometimes in sports you get a three-peat, and that's what this week was. This was the three-peat right here, and I had to hold on to my title because I didn't want to lose in front of Alan because we had a special guest today. So
I'll be sure to remind you after the AFC Championship when the Broncos make it to the Super Bowl again. And
well, they better fight long and hard for home field advantage because you just said yourself that you don't think that they're gonna win on the road in the playoffs either. So they're gonna have
which
to
I
fight
think
long
they'll
and hard.
get, because I think the Patriots will slip up more likely than the Broncos will for the remainder of the season. So
I mean, listen, we shall see how that thing goes, but we do have to jump into this day in sports history. Alan, can you help us out and take the first one?
Okay, sure. It's 1959, and Ernie Banks, the Cubs shortstop, wins second consecutive National League MVP.
yeah, they were all right back then, but
The Cubs just kept popping up today. What's that about?
in 1975, Orioles Jim Palmer wins his second Cy Young Award.
Right, and in 1990, the 21st New York City Marathon was won by Douglas Wakihuri in 2 hours, 12 minutes, and 39 seconds.
And finally, happy birthday, Orlando Pace, the NFL, Lorenzen Wright, the NBA, and Devin Hester, also of the NFL.
That's right. And back to the marathon really quick because the marathon did take place this past Sunday, one of the biggest marathons all throughout New York City.
I finished the course early. I did it in 2 hours flat, but I didn't want to actually be in the race because I didn't want to make everyone else look bad.
Did you start it and then hop off and take a cab to the finish line?
No. Like I wasn't actually I just did it before they even lined up. It was early in the morning, the early bird gets the worm type of thing.
I know you
I don't
want
want
to
wait for the actual thing.
I got you.
I don't want the spotlight and all that.
Well, this year
I just did it for the love.
The winners on the women's side was Mary Kitani, and she is from Kenya, 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 7 seconds. And on the men's side, Wilson Kipsang, also of Kenya, 2 hours, 10 minutes, and 59 seconds. The Kenyans, man, they dominate this New York City Marathon.
I saw a meme on the
They have
finish.
a dynasty on the marathon.
They have. I saw a meme with someone holding up a sign like "Hurry up! The Kenyans are drinking all the beer." Like they're celebrating already. Like you gotta come in.
We had two Americans in the top 10. Meb Gizigi, if I'm saying that right, I don't want to mess up the name. And Ryan Vale came in at number 9, and then Nick Arciniega came in at number 10. So actually 3 Americans in the top 10. but I don't think we've seen the first place in that in a long time. As far as on the women's side, number 5 was Desiree Linden from the United States, and number 10 Annie Bergzagel. So she came in 10th place. So we had a couple of Americans in the top 10, but the marathon is just not our thing. I'm just gonna put it out there.
I
The
mean,
New York City
we up
Marathon.
there at least with some,
It's not out there. We in the
placing
top 10.
decent-
I'll take top 10 because I know that's not our thing. The Kenyans have held it down for a couple of years now, and I don't see them slowing down.
They're still giving you the Benz when you win the marathon? Are you still getting the Mercedes Benz?
You know what? If they are, then man, listen.
I
Somebody's.
wonder
gonna
how
do-
they ride on the Kenyan roads.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think they're probably staying in the U.S. then driving their Benz. I don't know if they have it shipped back overseas, but we'll see. But shout out to both of the winners. For on that. It's no easy feat running through New York City. So definitely congratulations on that. And we got about 361 days until next year's marathon. So Statman, if you're gonna do it, you need to start training now and then work your way.
No, I'm not about that spotlight. I said I'll do it for the love. 2 hours flat. It was a pretty good time for me.
I got you. I can definitely understand that. I can understand that. But listen, this Thursday we got the Beta Awards coming back around. Y'all know that we were the best TV series at last year's Beta Awards. So we'll see if they're gonna pick us again. We putting out some quality shows for you guys, but that's up to the judges on that side. But we will be in the building and we will be representing either way. But even still, whether we get the award or not, we still want to really quick say thank you to our programming director Handel Gomez Abdul Rahim, and also to our interns Jojo and Shakira, who was with us over the summer, because they definitely hold us down. So whether we win or not, we already know what it is on Real Fans Real Talk. But we're gonna be at the
And don't
Betas.
forget Alan for even down the road showing up today and
Yeah,
helping
coming back.
out when he can.
Do what we can do.
Exactly.
All right. And just real quick before we wrap up, you want to get into the NCAA?
Yeah, we can definitely do that. First of all, I'm still not sure on this whole playoff thing. I'm still a little bit upset about that. I just don't understand that whole 4 teams in the playoffs.
It's better than 2.
Well, I guess it's better than 2, but I
upgrade.
mean, how can you have a playoffs and it's only 14? It only gives you 2 games. I mean, I guess, like I said, it gives you the game for third place, but I really just don't understand it. I think that, they have to do something. You got to expand on it. You can't have a playoff with 4 teams in it. That just doesn't, make any sense. But in any event, as far as the top 5 goals, not too much changing. At number 1, Mississippi State is still number 1, followed by Florida State. Mr. Fontaine's Seminoles. He's not here with us. Shout out to Fontaine. I know he's out working hard right now, getting ready for Thursday. Number 3 is Auburn. Number 4 is Ole Miss. Oregon is at 5. They pushed Alabama out the top 5, but I think that's only because Alabama had a bye this week. But I'm sure after this weekend's games, Alabama will fall back into the top 5. But that's pretty much it for college football.
All right. And final thought of the evening, Tripion?
My final thought, I'm just going to, because I know we didn't get a chance to talk about the World Series, so shout out to the Giants for winning the World Series. Pablo Sandoval got that $15.3 million qualifying offer. He wanted to be there. He wanted to stay. So shout out to them, and happy trails to Julius Randle. Had that season-ending injury and when he played in the opening game with the Lakers. Sorry about that.
We touched that on this Thursday's episode in Brooklyn, but this Thursday we will be winning some more Beta Awards, hopefully. So for Trip Young and Alan Carlton, I'm Mark the Statman Skevich. Thank you all for joining us, and have a good night, everyone.
Jordan up top, make left, go right. He's there, lay it up, score it easily. Wow.
Michael brings them to within 1. Now it puts the pressure on the Jazz to score once again.
Malone to the post. Malone stripped by Michael to the floor, stolen by MJ.
Jordan's got it. The Bulls can win it right here.